Hey, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me. Today, I would like to share with you something that I learned from Krista Cowan, the barefoot genealogist at Ancestry.com, creating Excel spreadsheet charts showing the number of generations that you have found in your family history research, as well as showing the connection to your cousins to help you with your DNA matches that you may have had. But first of all, before we begin, I would like to ask the question, how many of you watching have completed your family tree research? Well, I'm not seeing any hands raised at the moment, so I'm assuming that there's no one out there, including myself, and that's all right, because there's so much for us all to discover as we continue to learn. And so I'm calling this completed your family tree research. What is your number? Let's learn what the numbers mean and the connection to the ancestors, the relationship, I should say, of that would be. So let's toggle over here to the spreadsheet and we will begin. So here on the screen, we have a spreadsheet that I took and created, two sets of charts here that I hope are nicely visible. And it shows us the number of generations that I have here. I've listed only 10, and this would take us up from yourself, myself, back to the seventh great grandparents. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen, of the chart, excuse me, we have 1,023 expected people that you should be able to have found in your family tree. As you can see on mine, I've only found 255, which is quite a very low number. And so I've got a lot more research that I need to do. So that is not a problem. I enjoy it. I love the challenges that come with researching. Some of these are brick wall ancestors. Some of these could be where I would need to go to the physical locations to do more research because I have exhausted all of the online research that I have been able to do. And that's all right. That's where the adventures continue. Grab your family history papers if you want to take them, or your device and take with you. You can put apps, the Ancestry app on your phone, the Family Search app, and other genealogical program apps are available. And just go and travel. Make sure you pack something to snack on and take along someone if they like to go with you or go alone. But anyway, I'm wandering off here on a rabbit trail. Back to the charts. On the first chart, we have the number of expected people, 1 through 512, total 1,023. And with each generation, as you're working in your tree, count them. Start by looking at either your online tree that you've created, or look at your papers that you may have written out, perhaps on a pedigree chart, and count and see how many generations that you have completed. Perhaps you are up to your seventh great grandparents, and you're only about 100 away. That's fantastic. Um, Perhaps you are someone who was an adoptee and you don't know who your biological family members are. That's okay. You can take these charts and use them for building the tree for your adopted family's research. And then hopefully, and if you're interested, and you can locate your biological family members through DNA or other documents that perhaps have been passed down to you, then um, then use this as a separate set of charts for that as well. So don't give up. If you look to the right chart, you'll see that I have titled it Common Ancestors to the Birth Years and Birthplaces, listing just the state and the country. So with each generation, let's say, for example, my set of great grandparents that are 16 in total, I've been able to find all 16. This generation, with common ancestors to me, would be about third cousins. Now, in different programs and applications, there are different levels. So perhaps they're actually second cousins one time removed, second cousins two time removed, and so on. And that's, okay. But for this scenario, I'm just going to make it plain and simple for us just to say first through eighth cousins. So anyone who would be a third cousin or could be closely, older, maybe closer to like a fourth cousin, then they would be sharing the same set of great grandparents as I. And this is excellent because this can help me to take these charts and go over to my DNA matches on Ancestry.com, and I can create groups of different generations and say, the first cousins, the second cousins, and so on. And there might even be some surprises in your DNA matches. For example, I had one many years ago when I did my test a little over 10 years ago. And shortly thereafter, I discovered a half brother that I had no clue existed. And we have stayed in touch and have, at this time of this recording, not yet met in person. But Lord willing, we hope to meet someday. And I'm hoping to just be able to share more about our family with him, as long as he is interested in doing so. On the second column of the chart on the right, we have the birth years, and here is where you would put the year of birth for the ancestor. So, for example, that generation, the great grandparents, let me go back here, is ranging from 1827 to 1881. That's almost like 60 years of an age difference. That tells me, and it should tell you all, that not all of the grandparents, great, and so on, were all the same age, or they were only about 4 to 5 years in age difference. Mine were not. And perhaps yours are. But until you actually put your oldest living ancestor in that generation to the youngest, you would not be able to know the exact amount of years between all of the sets of that generation. So that's a pretty neat thing to be able to see and realize that some of these lived when there were certain famines going on, certain wars, boundary changes. A big thing to remember is whenever we're doing our research, that if our family lived in one area in a certain year, 5 to 20 years later, that area could be remapped and have new boundaries created. So it's very important to know that, again, the history, what was going on? Was there a revolution? Were there famines? Was there pestilence, diseases going on that caused large number of deaths or so on? So all these factors are very important when you're looking at these year ranges. The last column is just state and birth. So what I did was the person that was born in one of the states in the United States, I just listed that. So for example, that generation, I have ancestors born in Alabama and Tennessee, but I also have some that were born in the country of Italy. Now, just like in the United States, with any other country that you're researching outside the US, you need to know the location. And you can't just say, for example, in the States, oh, my ancestor was from Alabama. Well, I'm just going to go to Alabama and I'm going to learn everything about them. Okay, well, hold on. You've got to determine where in Alabama they were from, what county. Okay, then you would need to find out, okay, what records are still in existence today? Were there record losses? Perhaps there were, perhaps not. It just depends. And a great source on that to check out is the Family Search Wiki, which I did a video on that last time. So go back and watch that to learn a little bit more about that research. But when you go across the pond, we'll say either you're going back to the right to Europe or Africa or to Asia or Australia. Again, you need to know where the region, the state, whatever is within that country that they have created, county and so on. So these charts are extremely beneficial and have helped me out for many years. And it was a start with the DNA matches, basically, and to learn more. And there are still actually some DNA matches that I don't know how some of these people are related to me. And so that's where the descendancy research comes into play, and for you to start at a certain generation and go down from the parent to the child to the all the way down to the great grandchild, if there's any in that generation, and build from the top down each one. So, for example, if I were to go to my great great grandparents here, well, most likely they had siblings. So once I've completed all of mine, my direct descendant, all the descendants of that set of great great grandparents, then I would move over to their siblings and I would start with them and their children and grandchildren and go so all the way down as far as I could research, then go to the next sibling. And then once I've completed that branch, then move over to the next set of great great grandparents. Because if we see there's 16 that we have, so that's 8 set of great great grandparents in that generation. So anyway, these charts are extremely beneficial. They have always been. I do go back off and on. And as I locate new ancestors, I add that number to my chart. If you're interested and would like, I can send an email. I have created a blank chart here, and I can send this to you, and you can build your onto your own family charts here. Or if you would like to design your own in Excel spreadsheets, Microsoft, and I'm not familiar with Google Sheets, but if you are and you like that, try that and go for it. And if you want to even challenge yourself more, say, for example, you want to do like up to the 10th generation or not 10th generation, sorry, but to say like the 12th. So that would be your 9th great great grandparents, or, your 10th great great grandparents, and so on. Go for it. I'm not sure how other genealogical websites that offer the DNA testing, how far back they go. I know on Ancestry at one point it was to about 7th to 8th cousins, and they're always changing. They have been over these past 10 years. Great and fun changes, exciting, new locations and all, and it's just fantastic what DNA can do for you. Again, if you're an adoptee, don't give up. Build your tree with what you know. Build a tree for your adopted family, and grow it that way. And hopefully, you'll be able to learn more about your own biological family. And at this point, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to close out here just by saying that if you have any comments or questions, please put them below. Also, as you build this chart for your family, please put down in the comments what number you have found so far. And as you grow your family tree more and more and your numbers change, please update me. I'd love to hear from you and learn more about your family history as well. I hope this has been extremely beneficial to you in some ways, and that maybe you would be able to take it back with you and use it in your own research. Please feel free, if you have any questions, again, to put them in the comments. And if you would like this Excel spreadsheet sent to you, this one, drop your email or in the comments, and then I can send it that way to you as well. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day and have fun climbing your family tree. Take care, and Lord willing, we'll see you again next time.